Hi there, this is Craig. This is another mindful practice video, the second one in my sheets. There's 10 of these. Eventually I'll get through and do all of them. So we're going to talk through another 4 mindful practices for you to try. They're very simple, but again, it's remembering to be mindful that's the difficult thing, because we're so used to not being mindful, being in our head, thinking about past, thinking about the future. So mindfulness again is being present, being in the moment with your awareness. I'm feeling the chair I'm sitting on, I'm feeling the temperature in the room, I'm noticing how I'm feeling. This is awareness. That's bringing me to the moment, and I'm not judging anything, I'm accepting what is. If I'm doing those things, mindfulness is maintained. But very easy for it to slip, and we go back into our heads thinking about this, thinking about, doing, rushing. So some of these practices are really useful, again, to bring you back to the moment. So I'm going to talk through them, and we'll finish as I do with a meditation. So if you stay that long, then you'll also get a meditation. So let's get into it. We'll start with this first one here, which is absorb into a task is the name of this practice. And the picture there, in case you were wondering, is the washing up. That's a sink. There's some taps there. There's a plate of dishes on the right hand side stacked up, which sort of look a bit like a Zen pebble hierarchy, which I quite like. And on the left-hand side is your cleaned utensils and dishes, drying in a rack. So just wanting to make sure that you understood what that picture meant. Yes, this is my art. So we'll start with this, absorbing into a task, and you can think of washing up as a task. So say you're washing the dishes, that's something that we do from time to time. This is a good practice, again, to be there with your dishes, noticing if your mind is wandering off into the future or into the past. We have a tendency to rush our tasks. We're not fully present for a lot of them, including the washing up. Even before we get to the dishes, we might be sort of judging the dishes. We'd be possibly judging ourselves as well. We might be beating ourselves up for leaving the dishes for several days, perhaps, and and going, this is going to be tough to do, isn't it? I wish I'd done this yesterday or the day before. That's, you've gone into your past straight away with your mind. So it's amazing how a simple task like washing the dishes can create a lot of thoughts and a lot of issues. So what we're trying to do with mindfulness is we're coming to the task with an empty mind. It's like dishes are there, they need to be done. That's it. It doesn't matter that it's me that's doing the dishes and not the person sitting in the lounge watching the TV. There'd be a judgment on them and all the rest of it. It's kind of like, have I got some time to do the dishes? Yeah, I've got a spare 10 minutes or sometimes half an hour to do the dishes. So let's get into it. So put the tap on, you're filling your bowl with water. You may be putting your hand in there, like noticing the temperature of the water to get it to the right temperature. You're pushing your washing up liquid into the bowl, so you're feeling the suds of that and the smell of that. So you're currently present, sitting there, or stood there at your sink doing your dishes. And then you take the first dish and then you put it in the water and you're washing that dish. You're noticing if your mind is wandering off, or judging the washing up, or judging yourself, or judging the person in the next room, or whatever it is, and you're like, no, I'm on this dish, I'm wiping this dish, right, there it goes on the rack, next one. And you're trying to do it in a slow way, so that you're concentrating on the task. You're letting go of all your thinking, you're there with your dishes. You are just washing the dishes. That is what is happening. That is the present moment. Everything else isn't. the present moment. It's leaving the present moment and going into a realm of thoughts and judgments and things like that. We find with washing up that we label these things as chores, which is a kind of judgment in itself, isn't it? Whereas actually, it's just something that needs doing. You know, it's not a chore or a waste of time or an effort or a disgruntlement. None of these things. This is all labels that our mind and our ego gives things because we feel something. We feel reluctant, or we feel fed up or lazy or grouchy, or there's something going on. That's what happens when we judge. So it's actually good practice to do something mindfully like this and notice if you do judge it. Not beat yourself up for judging it, because then you'd be judging yourself. It's noticing the judgments, because the more you judge in this life, the more you're likely to have emotional problems and issues and stress going on in your body, the more unhappy you are if you're judging a lot of things. So a lot of judgment can lead to anxiety and can lead to depression and things like this. It's really good practice, even just to give you 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do the dishes mindfully. You know, you're not judging them, you're letting go of judgments for those 10 minutes. It's good for you, it's good for your body, it's good for you. It raises your joy, it raises your happiness level that's in there somewhere. I guarantee it. So practice things like that. You can do not just dishes, just think of any task and do it mindfully. You can mindfully clean, mindfully hoover, mindfully cook, mindfully garden, you know, whatever it is you're doing, be there totally with what it is that you're doing. Notice if your mind wanders off. And also, you're noticing feelings while you're there in the moment. You know, you might notice a heaviness as you start to do the washing up, because that heaviness is reacting to the pile of dishes. But as you go through, you might notice that you start getting lighter. You know, you're less heavy in your body. It's also good practice to try and smile while you're doing these things. It can turn chores and things that we don't like doing into actual mindful meditative practices. And actually, that's really good. That can really give you that peace just for those few moments that you're doing the task. So that's absorb into a task. So good luck with those. Um, Very good practices. You find after a while, when you're practicing mindfulness a lot, that these things become more automatic. You start doing things automatically more mindful because you're practicing it. So it's all about the practice. So we'll move on to the next one there. It's got the word breathe there. And this particular practice is a 5-minute tuning of your breath. And what this kind of means is that you're just checking in with yourself every so often. This is really useful when you're feeling a bit huffy puffy, as I call it. You're a bit disgruntled or a bit frustrated or annoyed at something. It's good to kind of take a moment. You're thinking, right, there's something not right here. I'm obviously judging something. I'm obviously bothered by something. Let me sit somewhere, you know, let me sit. I could have my cup of tea with me. You know, people who know me know I like to drink my tea. I have a mug right here. Um, Tea's great, but you're there with your tea. Again, you could absorb into drinking your tea mindfully. So you're just there, you're noticing your mind wandering off. You're like, no, 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 tea drinking. But you know what? While I'm sitting here with my cup of tea, let's breathe. Let's do this tuning. Let's check in with myself. So you could close your eyes if you like for a moment, and you could breathe. So a bit like meditation, you're like feeling the air as you breathe in, feeling the air as you breathe out. That's focusing on your breath mindfully. And you then do what's called a body scan. A lot of mindful courses and things do body scans. And it's a really lovely practice, a body scan. And I'll actually do one at the end of this video, so you get a flavour of what it means to have a body scan. But effectively, it's scanning your body. The clue's in the title. But you start with your feet, or you could start with your head. Start with part of your body. So I start with the feet normally. And so I'm like, right, I am aware of my feet. I'm aware of the ground under them, perhaps, and I'm also aware of how my feet are doing. Is there any aches? Is there any sensations or tension down there? Which might feel a bit strange at first. You might be thinking, I never get any stress in my feet. What's he talking about? But actually, focusing on different body areas is really useful awareness practice. It's growing your awareness, and it's also getting you more tuned into signals that may be coming from your body. And your body is there to help you. It's an amazing piece of machinery, if you like, this organic body that we have. It can send us emotions, it can send us thoughts, it can send us signals. All of these things is geared for us to notice those things so that we can act in a way that's rational and with clarity and wisdom. And often in our day-to-day rushing about, we're not really conscious of our body at all, or how we're feeling, or what we're thinking. This is what mindfulness is about: is to slow down and notice how we're doing. Because when you notice, you can react, you can do something about it. If you're frustrated and annoyed at something, rather than be up here in a subconscious way fueling that frustration with your thoughts, pausing with your cup of tea and sitting and having a mindful breathing moment and checking through what's going on with your body, is really, really useful. It pauses the autopilot and brings you back to the moment. So how are you feeling in that tuning? You could go from your feet up to your legs, to your knees, through your body. You might notice at certain points sensations or emotions. You might notice there's maybe butterflies in your tummy, or there's nervousness somewhere, or there's a heaviness in your shoulders, or you're tense in your neck area. We get a lot of tension up there. There might be a beginning of a headache up here. There could be all sorts of things. It's important to not judge any of them or worry about them if you do detect anything, because then you're obviously thinking about it and analysing, and that's taking you away from the moment, and you could start worrying about an ache or a pain. That's not what this is about. This is about being with what is there, with acceptance and kindness to yourself, and giving yourself that pause, that little break, just to be, just for a moment, 5 minutes perhaps, if you can manage it, with your cup of tea, and just relax and just let the thoughts pass by and be with whatever feeling is there, sending kindness and love to that feeling. So if you are frustrated, breathing in frustration, my old friend, breathing out calmness will help with that feeling. You're sitting with what's there. And that's what this is about, this tuning. You're not trying to fix anything or solve a problem. That's head. You're with your body, just noticing what's going on and accepting what's going on. But as I say, you're building this awareness which is going to help you in life with everything that you end up doing. So it's a good practice. And breathing when you're feeling uncomfortable, the breath is super important in mindfulness. It brings you back to the moment. You're always breathing, hopefully. So you can use it as an anchor. You can use it as a point to bring you back to the moment. At any time that you're feeling a bit fed up or grouchy, breathe. That is my advice. Because if we're grouchy or fed up, it's because we're judging or analysing something. And it's no good for us to do that for long periods of time. It's better to let go of the judgment and breathe and come back to yourself, ground yourself, notice how you're doing, take actions if necessary, and then carry on. So that's mindful breathing, and that's the tuning and the body scan. But as I say, I shall do the body scan a bit later on in this video. So just scrolling down to these ones, is this lovely one here. Sit and do nothing for 5 minutes. That sounds quite a nice little practice, doesn't it? But it's really interesting that people can't sit still for 5 minutes. And this is the point of this practice. I could also have chosen to say that this practice is sit and just be for 5 minutes. Because when you're doing nothing, you are actually doing something. You're being. And being is very healing. So even just being somewhere for 5 minutes and not doing anything, staring out the window, listening to the rain, just sitting, feeling the chair under you. Maybe you'll breathe a little bit, focusing on that, but you'll just sit. You're just letting the world go by. What you're actually doing for yourself is giving yourself a chance to rest. Your body is resting. Your mind, even more than that, is resting. Rather than your mind being this choppy sea that's thinking about the future and thinking about the past and worrying about this and bothered by that, you're letting it all settle so it becomes a placid lake. You can start to see clearly then through the lake. There's a good metaphor of looking down at the rock bed at the bottom of the ocean. You can see it when the ocean is calm, when the lake is calm. But if it's choppy with lots of thoughts and waves, then you're not going to see the bottom clearly. I quite like that. It's sharing what it's like to be mindful. You get insights and ideas and creativity about what to do with your issues when your mind is more settled, and you're much more rational to act in a more kind, compassionate way for yourself and for other people involved, rather than just doing this quick autopilot response, which could be non-kind, non-compassionate to people and yourself. So actually, when it says sit and do nothing, you're doing loads. You really are. You're helping heal your body. You're calming your mind. You're letting go of thoughts. You're just there. And this is a very important practice. I urge people to sit and do nothing in my classes, to much humor, but I recommend it probably every time we meet. It's such a good practice for 5 minutes. See if you can do it. The other thing that you'll notice when you try and do it is that you don't want to do it, or that your mind is thinking about the next thing to do. You might be thinking, not present. So you could be sitting there in the chair going, I don't know why I'm just sitting here really. It's I need to get on. There's washing up to do. There's things to be done. I can't just sit here. What will other people think of me? They might think I'm lazy, or I've got to do something. I've got to show that I'm making use of my time. You might be thinking all of these things, and that's what the point of sitting and just being is. It's giving us that moment to slow down and pause and notice just how busy our minds are. Because life at the moment is making us think, do, all the time. It's a constant process. And all that's doing is encouraging a habit of future thinking, which can in turn provide a habit of anxiety or frustration or annoyance or impatience when we are forced to stop and we can't go anywhere, as we have been during this coronavirus crisis where we've been in lockdown. We may have noticed during this period that we've been bored or restless or fidgety or fed up, or all of this disturbance in our inner peace. And that's because we're not comfortable with just sitting, with just being. This practice is starting to lean you into being comfortable with just sitting. In fact, it's vital to just sit. It's compassionate to you. So, very important practice. And it's there on the sheet. There's a big question mark. You don't know what's going to come up when you sit, but all sorts of things might. Emotions, thoughts, feelings. It's good to notice them and accept that you're having them, and to just be with whatever comes up. As I say, a bit like the breathing practice before, you're not fixing anything. Fixing is thinking. It's like, no, I'm here and I feel this. And that could be sadness, it could be loneliness, it could be boredom, it could be things that we think are negative, but that's a judgment of those words. You are just feeling something in the moment. And you could label it as boredom, perhaps. You might be fidgeting. You might notice your body doing all sorts of things. That's the point of noticing, because the more you notice and accept what's going on, it actually lessens these feelings and emotions in you. The more comfortable you get with them, the less likely you are to rush off and distract yourself from such emotions. So if you're bored, for example, rather than just rushing to the fridge and raiding it for snacks, for example, to fill that void, you're taking the time to be with your boredom, and that's making the boredom more palatable. So don't underestimate the power of sitting. Very important. And it leads on to the last one on this sheet, which is observe yourself. So that's a person there. And they're saying they're in the middle of this drama, so they're in their head and they're thinking about things. And the longer we think about things or a particular thing from the past or a worry about the future, you could say it becomes drama. It's a bit like watching a soap opera. There's a lot of drama in that, isn't there? People rushing about, people moaning to other people about other things. There's a lot of judgment there. So you could say drama is your judgmental mind. It could be raining outside, and I could be in here going, oh, I can't believe it's raining. I'm fed up. I hate the rain. I wanted to go out today, and now I can't. This is awful. I'm just fed up with my life. That's drama. Drama of the rain. The rain doesn't have drama. It just rains. That's all it is doing. It's just water coming out of the sky. But we attribute things as a personal insult or a personal offence to us. That's what drama means. Observing yourself is, again, having a conscious decision. So you sort of think, for the next 5-10 minutes, I'm going to observe what I do. I'm going to try and observe what I think, what my actions are. Am I rushing? Am I, caught up thinking about this thing or this problem? I'm going to observe it as an observer. It's like taking a 3D view of you or watching yourself on the TV. So you're not attaching to the drama. You might notice that you're getting upset because it's raining, for example, but you're not trying to you are not your thoughts. You're trying not to be in the middle of those thoughts. You're trying to take a step back and observe your thoughts. And becoming the observer and just seeing the facts, like, oh, I am getting frustrated with the rain. That's the fact, because you're feeling frustration and you're attributing that to the rain. That's awareness, that's consciousness, and then you have choices when you see things. It's kind of like, do I need to get frustrated over the rain? I've noticed there's frustration there. Oh, you know what? That's just not very rational. I'm getting upset over the rain. We need rain. Let me have a nice cup of tea. Let me drink that mindfully. This is giving me practice actually to be indoors today. Let me sit and do nothing for 5 minutes. In fact, let me listen to the rain on the window. Because if I'm just listening to the rain and I'm not thinking about anything else, I'm not in drama. I'm with the flow of what's going on in the day. I'm sitting there with the rain. It's not bothering me. I'm not getting frustrated. In fact, this sound of rain is healing. This is bringing me to the moment. This is giving me a chance for my mind to rest. This is rain listening meditation. So you can see that there's always two ways of looking at what's going on in the world. You can get annoyed or dramatic or judgmental about something, and that causes a lot of tension and issues in our body. Or we can go with the flow, we can accept that things are happening, hear that things are happening, or feel what's happening, but be okay with that. Just accept it. It's kind of like, even if you were wanting to go for a walk that day and it started chucking it down with rain, rather than getting bothered by it, you're just kind of like, oh, all right, change your plans then. What will I do instead? I'll sit and have my nice cup of tea. I'll read that book that I wanted to read. Let's do something different. But you're kind of going with the flow of it. You're not getting upset. That's what observing yourself means. Observing yourself is being mindful of yourself, basically. But you can choose, you can have this practice, as I say, 5 minutes can be a really nice little practice, this, because you start to notice when you're rushing or you are getting bothered by things like the rain or something is irritating you and you're just like, nah, it's okay. Yeah, I'm noticing that there's still things that are bothering me in life, clearly not a Zen master yet. And that's okay too. We're just in this doing our best. Let me comfort my annoyance and my feelings. Let me be with those. Let them settle. Everything will be fine because everything changes. You know. So that's those practices. So I've kind of glossed over them relatively quickly, but I'm hoping that that's giving you a few insights and a few ideas anyway. A few simple practices to try when you're at home. Uh, Breathing, sitting, being, not doing much. It sounds crazy to society and the world, which wants us to keep doing and keep performing and keep achieving. So it is a kind of a different slant on life, but I guarantee the more you sit and just be and just relax like that, observe your emotions and all the rest, you become in control of them, not the other way round, and you start getting happier. And it's not that you don't do anything, you just intersperse the doing with being. In fact, you do the things with being, like the dishes. You're washing up the dishes with being because you're present. And that's where you get the joy of things. You can get a lot of joy from listening to rain on a window, for example. But when we're caught up in our head moaning and groaning about it, there's no joy. So notice your joy levels. How happy are you in life? If you are anxious, if you are kind of depressed or fed up, you're in your thoughts and you're judging things. And you may not be observing what you're doing. This is what these practices are for, is to try and help you notice that, are you judging things? Are you being negative about things? It's not always easy because certain situations and circumstances can make us this way, but we are where we are and we have to start where we are right now in the present. So whatever's happened in our past that has made us depressed, well, here we are now. What am I going to do now to help? The first step is to observe what it is you're doing and accept what it is with kindness. And I guarantee things will start to change after that. So we'll just finish this video now. As I said, I wanted to do a body scan with you. So we're going to do a little meditation, which will include a body scan. So I invite you to close your eyes, just relax. You can listen to my voice. I will guide you through just 5 minutes or so. We won't go crazy here. I have a little bell here. Here it is. It's a nice singing bowl, actually. Makes a nice sound. So I'll hit that to begin. So you'll hear a little note. And then, yeah, I'll guide you through. So here we go. So just begin by noticing your breathing. Noticing your in-breath and your out-breath. Feeling the air as you breathe in. Feeling the air as you breathe out. Breathing in, you know you're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing out. Noticing if your mind wanders away from the breath. If it does, just smiling, bringing your focus back to your breath. Breathing in calmly, breathing out easily. And then just bringing your awareness down to your feet. Just wiggle your toes. Notice toes are wiggling. As you breathe in, just breathe to your feet. Just noticing if there's any sensations, anything at all. And then just bring your awareness up from your feet to your ankles and your lower parts of your leg, shins, up to your knees. Breathing in, breathing out. Just noticing how these areas are feeling. And slowly moving your awareness up to your upper legs, and up to your bottom, just sitting on the chair. Just noticing that connection, breathing to these areas, just observing. Move up to your back, just again noticing the chair and your back connecting to that chair. Noticing how your back is feeling. And feel the rise and fall of your tummy as you breathe in, breathe out. Just notice how your abdomen, solar plexus, is all doing. Move up to your chest. You can hear your heart beating. Feel the air as you breathe in, just filling your lungs. Breathing out deeply. Moving up to your shoulders, just shrug your shoulders a bit. So noticing how these areas feel. Move your neck side to side. Noticing if there's any tension. And move up to your head and try and notice the different parts of your face. Chin, mouth. You can notice your tongue, your teeth, smile. Noticing what a smile can feel. Feel the air as it breathes, whether you're breathing through your mouth or your nose. Move to your ears, just noticing what you're hearing, noticing the spaces between any sounds. Move up to your temple and just tune in to how you're feeling up there. And just bring your awareness back down to your shoulders and move down your arms, down to your elbows. Breathing in, breathing out. Sending your breath to all parts of your body. Noticing any sensations. And bring your awareness down from your elbows to your lower arms and into your hands. Wiggle your fingers. Notice the temperature of your hands, how your hands are doing. And then just take a deep breath, just visualizing your air as white light, just entering your whole body from head to toe. Breathing in light, breathing out tension. And then just when you're ready, just open your eyes if they're closed. Come back to where you are. Okay, so thank you for watching me and listening to me and for doing a body scan meditation with me. I hope that was useful and helpful for you. So just going forward, just remember that 5 minutes of mindfulness practice goes a long way. Just sit, just be, notice any uncomfortableness, breathe, these kind of things. Do the washing up mindfully. It calms you. It starts to tune you into your awareness, and your awareness is the truth of everything. Your awareness is what you need to really help you and guide you through your life, not necessarily what your thoughts are telling you. So don't believe everything your thoughts tell you. Come back to your awareness. It's never wrong. So I hope that's been helpful. You can incidentally download this sheet that I've talked through from my website. If you visit www.craig-gilbert.com, there's a video link on the home page, and if you click on that, this is mindful practice sheet number 2. So you click on that link and you'll be able to download that for reference if you want to. And so thank you all for coming, and I will be doing more of these, as I said at the start, and wishing you all kindness and happiness and mindfulness, and hopefully see you again sometime soon. So take care, everyone. Bye just now.